Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay! Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
I'm feeling fly, yeah, I'm so damn fresh. Got that platinum grill, bringing in the chest. Diamonds in my mouth, shining when I speak. That umbrella guy, flossing speaking geek. Ice on my teeth, I'm dripping so hard. Platinum grills, I'm the king of the boulevard. Throwing money in the club, making haters mad. I'm the baddest in the game, no one gets a pass. Ooh yeah. Crushing all these lines, yeah, I feel fly. Rolling on the dubs, that umbrella guy. Iced out cold on the boulevard. You ain't a comic gangster, don't be playing hard. Ice on my teeth, I'm flying so high. Dropping the bass, that umbrella guy. One drill to rule them all, one drill to bind them. Baby, I'm so iced out, gonna blind them. Rolling in town, I'm an army of one. Doing verbal walk-bys, blazing like the sun. Riding in my whip, crushing false accusers. Dropping off the bass on the real abusers. Yeah. Living life fast, no time for the slow. Justice on my mind, stacking up on my flow. Life in the fast lane, no time to blink. Ice on my teeth, watch it when I speak. Chilling on my rhymes, never missing a beat. Ice on my teeth, yeah, I'm living that sweet. That umbrella guy, bringing the platinum heat. Crushing every hater, no time for defeat. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, indeed. What's up, folks? How's it going today? Man, there is something brand freaking new that is it. Something brand new, baby. And it is good. It is very good. Oh my God. You guys are going to be very entertained tonight. You know, so much stuff has happened, by the way. I mean, we just had today, if you missed this for some reason, also, we had Shara drop part 2 of her video with Jamie Starr Johnson. There are other things that we haven't even gotten near. I mean, there is so much. Again, it is the Megan being gone syndrome. By the way, if you notice she's not here right now, that is because I karate chopped it. No, she's actually traveling. So it's hard to travel and do it. One second. Sorry about that. I knocked something off when I was messing around. I was like a karate chopped it and knocked something over. So, yeah, the irony of doing that. But it has been a crazy week. I mean, seriously, I can't believe the amount, just the sheer volume of stuff that has gone down. Give me 1 minute. I've got a list of it. I think I set it down over across my way. Let me see. Hey, let me grab this. 1 second. I know you can still hear me, but I'm distant. Just give me 1 second. I want to tell you all of the things that have happened. Sorry, I know I got distant for a second there, but I walked across the room to grab everything because just the sheer volume of stuff that has come up. I mean, listen to this. And this includes, there's a couple of things like videos that I think are important too. But over the last couple of days, we have had the bankruptcy, the camper, I still want to cover, so they had their Sunday thing, and they went after only me around 30 something times, but they mentioned Michelle Preston on 2L over 70 times that night. So I thought that would be good to go over. We still have the Granger and Granger counterclaims we have not yet touched, which I guess will be this weekend. We have the bankruptcy stuff as far as when LP started posting about it. We had the tax cost motions. I'm just telling you everything here. Miyagi made a banger of a video, by the way, calling out the mess with donors and more. Tizzy made a banger of a video too. Paint Chips had the Fed 2 decision come in. Bruce, he wrote today, by the way, we got an addition to that. Oh, it's something brand new. So we'll be talking about that and more on that one. We had with Paint Chips, we not only had the judge thing come in, but we also had the Fed 2 mess that he put in. So all of that's really kind of together there. We had the new LP posts. We have Jeremy's banger of a bankruptcy video that we haven't talked about. We have Shara's brand new Jamie video. And I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff. But that's what's happened in the last few days. That's in the last few days. And I'm sure there's so much of it that I'm forgetting something. That's how crazy it has been. And it's all because Megan left. That's all because of that. Yeah, William noted that I listened to 27 minutes of Shara's video before popping over here. Starts a little slow, but has lots of, yes, it's a good video. It is. It's good. I went through fast, and I'll go through. We will cover it on that this weekend, I'm sure. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff. One thing, though, for tonight, like I said, I'm not, baiting you and telling you, oh, my God, there's something new when there isn't. Give me a second. Let me show you. What we have to look at tonight, because this will be fun. And this, man, if this happens too, my goodness, my goodness, look at this here. So we have a wonderful motion to strike unauthorized communications and for sanctions for unauthorized practice of law. Oh my God. Now, what you might be asking, what is this about, Tug? What is happening here? What do you mean unauthorized practice of law? Well, if you look at the last few days, you had Bruce decide that he was going to not just write the court for Michelle Preston. He wasn't just writing them, like, informing them of stuff. He was putting in items that very much, let me give you an idea of one, okay? Let me just throw something in front of you and show you what I mean here, all right? And they'll be in this filing, so we will look at them. But to give you an idea of how much he had put in, and this was going on, quote unquote, behind the scenes, you can see him writing. He's arguing like a lawyer. He is practicing this. Good luck arguing that this is not somebody trying to be a lawyer here, because they're not only writing and doing this, but they're adding on items with filings and more. Again, how can you say with all of this here with him adding this shit in here, how can you say that he is not attempting to work in the capacity of a lawyer for these folks? Now, there's a problem with that. He is not licensed in the state of Florida. You remember all the mess that came up with him and being in Fed 1? He had to become pro hoc vice. He has to serve under somebody. Well, in order to do that, again, he has to be added on, and in order to be added, hey, I want to try something tonight, by the way. All you folks out there, I'm gonna attempt something. I just want to see what happens. All of you random folks, even if you're just lurking there, especially if you're lurking and you don't typically talk or anything else, do me a favor. Just type a letter or a word in chat, and I want to see if the bots on YouTube, if it registers more people when that happens, because I'm curious about something that's been happening on Twitch. I want to see if it happens here. So everybody there, you don't even have to make a word, just type a letter, and when you're typing there, again, the chat will go crazy for a minute, I realize, but I'm trying to see if it tells it sure did. It jumped 50 something people, just bam, right when letters started coming. That's so crazy, man. That is so crazy. Such a mess, isn't it? Okay. Thank you for that too. I was curious about it. So with this though, the crazy thing about it again is that Bruce, he's not a Florida lawyer. He's not pro hoc vice. He's not serving under an incapacity with another lawyer. And on top of that, he is not supposedly working with Lynette Preston. Remember, in Fed 1 at least, they said that they released him. They fired him. That's the way I took that document again. They fired him. So, I mean, you can... Yeah, see, it jumped up to, so it went from my count when people started talking, it was 2,100. And when they stopped typing, it is now at 2,375. So it jumped 270 something people. Isn't that weird? It's not counting people that are sitting there. And again, I appreciate you being here. You're just here. That's fine. But I just think that's crazy that they're not counting people if you're not Jen. That's weird because you are here. I wonder how many people it discounts that way. So Bruce, he decided though to write a series of letters. He wrote, and they ended up. I don't think he thought they would end up in any type of filings. I think he thought that he would just be able to put them in. He might be able to influence. And some of the courts, I get the feeling that some courts might not have reports. They're supposed to report communications. If communications are being made, they are supposed to not only pick that up, but they're supposed to report them, put them on the docket, right? Well, not all the courts haven't been doing that. And you have the ecosystem saying that they have been mailing the courts. Now that's wild, isn't it? I mean, they have been saying that they are mailing the courts. So this stuff, again, there is no reason that it should not be made public, because it's insane, especially when you're talking about an attorney. They know better. They absolutely know better. But apparently this stuff, let me show you. So talking about the communications too, to give you an idea of what they are. Now, some of you may have already seen the communications. You have not seen this wonderful filing talking about them, though. But the communications themselves are kind of wild in their own way. Again, you have multiple ones. They end up on the docket. You have item number 31 here. We have communications. Number 31, isn't it interesting? They're talking about the bankruptcy here, talking about Mr. Shockett continues to abuse this court for the sake of his client's YouTube content. This is Bruce. Like, he is interfering, man. Like, this is nuts. And this is Judge Grabe we're talking about, by the way. We aren't talking about, see, you see Judge Grabe mentioned right here. This ain't your mess around judge. This ain't a guy that's going to let him just goof off and do whatever he wants. This is a hardcore judge. But you have stuff like that. You have, again, I mean, you have him literally coming in and kind of arguing, you know. He's freaking arguing. He's been doing this. So when the this is funny to find too. If you look on the dates, you remember when we were waiting for Michelle Preston to pop up and to do her depo. Well, looky who is writing and more, you know. Look who is writing and talking to the freaking court. I mean, this is kind of nuts, isn't it? Oh, you know? This stuff is nuts to see. I mean, like I said, it's crazy because he has nothing to do with this case. In fact, none of these idiots have anything to do with it. And when you look at this again, if you go through and you start reading these, I mean, it's like I said, they blow my mind to see, because when you're looking, I mean, again, these are attempts to interfere. He's talking about the default. This is what he's playing lawyer. He's practicing law. Like, if you look at this, you got to be like, what in the world does this guy think he's doing? This right here, it's a big deal, man. This is like, they'll try to play it off, and this is a bad thing that this man has done to a degree. Again, this is the kind of stuff that gets you in trouble with the bar. You know, I was curious about that when I was looking it up. I was curious before any filing. I figured there would be a filing sooner or later, or there would be something that talked about it. But I figured, you know, this is bad for him. And yeah, yeah, it absolutely is. And by the way, folks, I saw a bunch of giftos pop in. Thank you. Thank you for that. That is awesome of you folks. And if you are here, let me shill for a minute. Oh, let me show you something real quick. I did, so with the work, by the way, tomorrow is my oldest daughter's birthday. She wants to come on for a little bit. So I told her she could tomorrow night. What are we doing tomorrow? Oh, whatever she feels like doing. You know, I told her it's her day. So she decides what we do tomorrow. But as you know, she's been making bracelets. And I told her, well, I need a bracelet that could save my life. You know what I need? I need one of those anti-Hales repellents. Now, what can you repel the ecosystem with, ladies and gentlemen? When you think about it, what is the most amazing thing that we have found out about recently? That would be blue tape. That's right. So look at that. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is the anti-Hales repellent. That's right. You slap a little blue tape on your wrist. Slap that blue tape on your wrist. Yeah. And you can kiss those suckers goodbye, baby. I got that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's right. I am protected by blue tape. It's kind of like you ever flea dip your dogs or your cats, you know, making sure that you keep fleas away? Well, this is the same thing. This is an anti-Hales repellent. This is flea dipping your arm. So I feel protected. Oh, I love them. Oh, we need, I know. I thought about, after she made that, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. I think we're going to make a few more. Between those, I may actually let her for, you know, I may have her make some and give her what, you know, of course, whatever they make, but it may do that. Between those, And the polyflops, I thought they were great too. See, between that one and if you ever want to describe what's going on, well, baby, that's right. We are in the midst of polyflop. That's right. Yet again. So I thought between those two, they could have a lot of fun. And we'll talk about that later on tonight. But let's get to this filing, folks. And again, like I said, if you're out there, you want to support the channel, make sure you tell people we are live. Make sure that you tell them, "Ooh, we got a banger of a freaking thing to cover today," and hit that like button, of course. Comment every now and then if you would, and if you want to go further, you want to support the channel, you want to help out, always helps out. If you want to do that, consider breadsticks. That's right. Consider the super chats. We have different types of links, all of that good stuff. And thank you. Let me get a drink and then we start. So this is our response to all those crazy letters, right? Again, a motion to strike unauthorized communications, because those communications are ridiculous, and also for sanctions for unauthorized practice of law. So Jeremy Hales, by and through undersigned counsel, hereby files this motion. Again, we will look at the letters, by the way. We will definitely look at those letters too that Bruce threw in. Like I said, I want to show you this stuff. But hereby files this motion to strike unauthorized communications and for sanctions for unauthorized practice of law, and in support thereof states as follows. Introduction. So this motion seeks to bring to the court's attention that ex parte communications, now that's a big no-no, like I said, ex parte communications are a big deal. It's a big no-no. The freaking ecosystem thinks they can do this all the time. You saw Lips playing this. You saw her throwing in. I mean, they did it into a freaking protective order, for God's sake. Imagine that. Like, they are so brazen, but they did it in Judge Grabe's court. And I think Grabe is going to appreciate this. I think this will very well annoy Grabe because of the severity of it. But ex parte communications, including emails and possibly other filings. So we don't know. You don't know the extent of it. I mean, remember, we found out, for example, the extent, like 2L has made it clear when they communicate with like Levy County, they try not to leave records. That's something they admitted. They said when we FOIA'd and we found that stuff, we haven't found everything. And in fact, I've been hearing a little something. Lisa, have you been down to Levy County? Are you talking about, let's just say, individuals you don't like? Are you prepping, trying to make sure that that you're safe from and shielded? Did you go after Lynette Preston in Levy County? I heard a weird thing. I heard a whisper from some boys in the blue, and I'm wondering if that's true. Did you go to Levy County and go after Preston? I'm really curious about that. Oh, if you did, baby. If you did, that's craziness. Oh, my God. But I'm hearing that possibly happened. Wouldn't that be crazy, by the way? Take the person's money. Did you tell them about Gabe and his background? All right, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, okay? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, okay, let me reset my brain. Okay, motion is to bring to the court's attention ex parte communications, including emails and possible other filings, are being sent to the court. In this case, from an out-of-state attorney who is not licensed to practice law in Florida and who has not been admitted pro hoc vice in this matter. That's right. They're not just communications, by the way. I mean, he is arguing the case here. He is trying to be an attorney without going through the proper channels, which again, if you look, that is unauthorized practice of law. That is a big deal. That is the kind of stuff that can get you in big trouble with the bar. Big trouble. Especially when you have a judge that he may not enjoy that. He may have a real problem with it. 1 second. I blow my nose. Hey, kiddo, come here. Give me a hug. I'm going through a court document. Come here. Oh, what is that? That's a pop-up, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's your thing for your game. Okay. Well, here, take it upstairs, there. I love you.
Love you. See you
Are you ready?
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow, right? We're going to have a good day, right, with Sissy's birthday.
Sissy's birthday.
Yeah.
And when's my birthday?
When's your birthday? That was a few months back. But you know what? Your heart birthday, we could have it tomorrow, too.
So I can buy cake too?
Yeah, we can have you some cake, too. That's right. Love you. Love you, baby. Hey, close that door, okay? Yes. Her heart, if she mentions her heart birthday, I've said this before, but when she was little, she had to have her heart worked on. She had 2 tiny pinholes in her heart. Very scary moments, we had to go to the hospital and stuff. And the way that she understood it, and still understands it as a child, she thinks she got a new heart. So she has heart birthdays. That's her idea. She likes to thank her heart. So she has it a birthday. She has her birthday, but her new heart has one. And she decides to have a heart birthday, different time period. So she's been telling me we're going to have a heart birthday tomorrow. But I was like, that's really cute, But yeah, she had to have a repair on her heart. Like I said, it was a scary thing. But if you ever hear me mention heart birthday, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's continue here. That's so cute how kids think that, though. So these unauthorized communications constitute the unauthorized practice of law in violation of the rules regulating the Florida bar and potentially prejudice the proceedings in this matter. See, that's a problem. See, right here, this is a guy that is not in the case, but yet again, he is attempting to influence this matter. That is a problem. It is a massive problem. I mean, these people, you look at some of the stuff they do, and you ask yourself, have you ever seen a case like this? Have you ever seen people so brazen? But yeah, I mean, that violates rules regulating the Florida bar, and also it potentially prejudices. So, factuals. So Michelle Preston is currently pro se, but is being represented by Bruce Madskin, who is not licensed to practice law in Florida. Wow, what a banger right there, isn't it? Already. So upon information and belief, Bruce Madskin is licensed to practice law in the states of Connecticut and Massachusetts, but he is not a member of the Florida bar. That's why when it came down to it, Scott Stark, he was brought in. He needed somebody to be the face of litigation in Florida. Now, he said that he was going to do this and that behind the scenes, and he would be the face of litigation as it came forward, but he would not be the court-facing person. He couldn't be. Now, he could be in Fed 1, because in Fed 1, he was brought in pro hoc vice, although he could have potentially lost that. Now, we don't know. We never got to that point because, according to the filing, he was let go. He was terminated. He was fired by Michelle Preston. So he is still operating, and yet he's not. That's weird and crazy. It's almost like he stepped aside for Fed 1. So what was that was said about another lawyer we've talked about? Oh, in lieu of consequences, right? In lieu of consequences. That's right. So Bruce has been sending... He has sent emails to the court and parties in this case and may have prepared legal documents filed in this matter. See attached. Now, that's the thing, too. There are legal documents that have been prepared in this case by a lawyer. It notes that they were prepared by a lawyer, but it does not note who. Now, interestingly, he has been attaching documents to his emails talking about this, where these, again, if he is, you think about how messed up this is. So here, let me bring one of those up real fast. Okay. So the answers, his answers and counterclaims, for example, or hers rather, her answers and counterclaims, it notes at the bottom, prepared with the free assistance of a lawyer. That's really interesting, especially considering Bruce is adding these things to items. So what this looks like is Bruce potentially, again, running a case without actually being on the case, which is a problem, especially if he is communicating with the court as well. Big problem, big no-no. Big no-no. Already a big no-no, but gets bigger as a no-no. Crazy stuff, isn't it? No Florida licensed attorney has appeared as counsel of record for Michelle Preston in this case, since Preston's prior Florida counsel, Scott Stark, died August 2025. In fact, at the recent case management conference in this matter, Preston appeared pro se, even though her bankruptcy attorney, that would be Jerome Ramasaran, I forget how to pronounce his name. I'm going to call him, I'm just going to call him the bankruptcy lawyer because I will butcher his name, and I don't mean to. You know, if I mean to butcher your name, you'll know it. But otherwise, I'll just southern your name up and mess it up an accident. But I can't remember. I think it's Ramsarin something. I don't remember. But bankruptcy lawyer appeared and specifically advised the court he was not appearing in this matter. And we went over that video. You also have access to that video. So if you haven't seen that video, you really should check it out. And the reason you should check it out, there were really two things in that. Number one, you should check out Judge Grabe, because Judge Grabe does not seem to like nonsense. He doesn't seem like the type that would enjoy someone trying to prejudice the court and violate items that are against the Florida bar. I mean, that seems like it could be a problem. And on top of that, Michelle Preston tried to shut stuff down, you know? She tried to shut down the ability to be able to see anything on it too. So, Bruce, he has not filed a motion for admission pro hoc vice pursuant to Rule 1.200 of Florida Rules of General Practice and Judicial Administration, and he's not been granted pro hoc vice admission by the court either. That's right. He's not been admitted because he didn't ask for it. So, you know, he is now the, oh my God. I almost called him the don't ask, don't tell lawyer. I was like, wait a minute, I think that has a different connotation than what I meant there. Not exactly what I meant there. You know what's funny is I caught myself. I didn't say it. Then I thought it was funny enough that I said it anyway. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, but he has not asked for any type of permission from the courts, which again is a huge no-no. You have to. So the legal argument. Now, Florida Bar Rule 4-5.5, it prohibits attorneys not admitted to practice in Florida from establishing an office or other systematic or continuous presences in Florida for the practice of law, or from holding out to the public or otherwise representing that they are admitted to practice in Florida. So you can't make it look like you're able to practice if you are not able to practice in Florida. That makes sense, right? It further prohibits non-Florida lawyers from practicing law in Florida unless they meet specific exceptions. Yes, this is typical with anywhere you are, by the way. This happens, such as being admitted pro hoc vice, or again, as I say with Bruce, I feel it's more like pro hoc vice for him to be admitted the pro hoc vice, or working in association with a Florida licensed attorney who actively participates in this matter. So you see the problem there, right? It's a big problem. Now, it constitutes the unlicensed practice of law for an out-of-state attorney to write letters making arguments to a court in Florida on behalf of a client without first obtaining pro hoc vice status. That is correct, man. That is like I said, it's a big no-no, and he knows better. This is the problem with these people, is they know better. They do all kinds of stuff they are not supposed to do. And they figure that no one will call them out. Like I said, I bet you money that in other courtrooms, specifically Ohio, I bet you that there has been enough interference there. We know by admission, we had Federico's tell us that she was contacting every court, every one of them, that she was writing them and more. And we saw some of those documents that were added in. But as far as letters, we've never had a letter pop up before, even though they told us they were writing. So if that really did happen, see, I think that's a very legitimate question now. After this has been brought up in this court, I think it's a legitimate question to ask other courts. I'd have to find out. Again, not you. You don't need to ask the court anything. Let me make that clear. I'm talking about for like a Randy or like a Jeremy, those people that are part of it, them to ask, not you though. You may wonder, I wonder the rules on it, but interference in the case. It's worse though. See, you see clowns try to interfere with cases. I mean, you see that sometimes. But what you don't typically see is a lawyer who knows better than to do this, interfering to this degree. It is like, Bruce, have you lost your mind, son? What are you doing, Bruce, man? I get that you hate Randy. I get that you hate Jeremy. Or maybe it's a different thing. Are you worried that you made promises to Michelle Preston, and if they fall through on you, that you're going to have a problem? Is that why the delays? Are you afraid that she is going to actually have somebody depose her and talk about things? I saw a post by Michelle, by the way. I want to address something. I hope she hears this. She said that people are making fun of her going into bankruptcy. People are not mocking you for being bankrupt. Like I said, I've been there. I've been there twice, lady. There are reasons to go there. It's the fact that these people have convinced you that you can write off these court filings and that you can just magically whoosh them away. They're not telling you the truth. That's what people are like. What in the hell is going on here? Also, the $6,000 for a person that typically doesn't make that much money. All of that is very questionable. Also, the way the money was raised. Oh, by the way, another person came forward talking about, I'm going to be vague, a little bit vague in this, but another person has come forward and talked about giving money, giving a substantial amount of money as far as the memorial is concerned. A substantial percentage, and never seeing that happen. More people should come forward. Again, if you have gone through something like that, folks, if you have given money and you gave it to the barn dough, you gave it to something that has not been made manifest like that, where there was something promised again for another person, like Michelle Preston, that never received their money, then let me know. Make contact. Now, you folks, you may not ever be made whole, but if you're ever going to be made whole, Part of that would have to be through a legal process. But even if you never get the money back, at least there can be some kind of ramification for somebody taking that money. All right, let's continue though. God, that annoys me some days. So, Florida law, talking about again, he's doing all this without first obtaining the pro hoc vice status. Florida law requires that attorneys not admitted to practice in Florida must either be admitted pro hoc vice or be members of the Florida bar to engage in legal practice within the state. Now, in what is that? Zettler versus Ehrlich? I don't know. Freaking in Z versus Z. The court held that a man, it's funny, like, I'm like, man, this name can't get weird. Wait, yeah, I guess it can. It's like settler, but pronounced by a German, Zettler. It's so interesting. Anyway, the court held that a letter submitted by an out-of-state attorney who was not admitted to practice law in Florida or admitted pro hoc vice could not be treated and as an authorized pleading under Florida law. Now, again, you see this here. So in this case here, court notes that a letter submitted by an out-of-state attorney who could not practice in Florida and was not admitted pro hoc vice could not be treated as authorized pleading. Now, the court emphasized that such actions amounted to the unauthorized practice of law, as the attorney was not authorized to represent a party in Florida courts without proper admission. That makes sense. See, this is the kind of thing that pisses people off because ultimately other people follow the rules, you know? And then you have these clowns that do not follow the rules, you know? Bonnie asks, thanks for the fun. Is Felicia fundraising a case that could go to a class action case? She's definitely fundraised her own case going to something that could cause a real problem. Actually, what needs to happen is there needs to be a few people come forward and talk about what has happened with this, because I don't believe that I've seen some of the posts by Preston, and I don't believe from her posting that she would be able to make the point on her own. I believe that they would probably want to hear from parties and probably see some legal records. So, I think when you put it all together and you make a real case for it, I think they think they're only going to have to deal with Preston by herself. The rest of the ecosystem seems to not be helping her at all. It's wild. We have Bruce here making contact with courts and shit, but he can't help her get her money back. Come on, dude. What's up? What's up with that, man? That's weird. It's almost like this is for something else, But anyway, that the court emphasized that amounted to unauthorized practice of law, as the attorney was not authorized to represent a party in Florida courts without proper permission. Now, similarly, in this case here, the court ruled that a letter submitted by an individual who was not a member of the Florida bar or admitted pro hoc vice was a nullity. So, not pro hoc vice, it's a nullity. Could not constitute an authorized pleading. The court reiterated that appearances before Florida courts must be made by a member of the Florida bar, an attorney admitted pro hoc vice, or a party representing themselves in proper person. Now, again, Florida Bar Rule 4-5.5C2 further clarifies that an attorney admitted. It further authorizes that a person reading legal documents should actually have a speaking spell. The umbrella says dumb things. Oh my God. Anyway, Okay, I'm back. Then an attorney admitted, so dumb, in another jurisdiction may provide legal services in Florida on a temporary basis only if the services are reasonably related to a pending or potential proceedings and the attorney is authorized by law or order to appear in the proceedings. Now, without such authorization, the attorney's action would be considered unlicensed practice of law. Problem there. Big problem. Again, this is the kind of stuff that gets you a bar complaint. And potentially, I mean, again, I know they don't care about bar complaints because the bar has never stepped on them before, but they can. They can, you know. And I imagine that this is the kind of stuff. Unauthorized practice of law. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? The unauthorized practice of law, that they are providing legal services. Again, I could think about this. I mean, really think about it. They come in and they try to pretend that they're just a concerned party. But really, I mean, this is a lawyer that he knows better. He has gone through what's so egregious about this is that Bruce has gone through the correct process before. He knows what he's supposed to do to get involved in this stuff. What I think they thought is that nobody would ever tell. They would never find out. But Bruce has gone through the correct procedure. He has actually gone through in Florida becoming pro hoc vice. So to do what he's doing here is wild when you think about it. It is. So all of this, it means that an out-of-state attorney like Manskin, he must obtain pro hoc vice status before engaging in any legal representation, including submitting arguments to a Florida court to avoid violating Florida rules against unauthorized practice of law. Now, the Florida rules of general practice and judicial administration require that a foreign attorney seeking to appear in a Florida court must file a verified motion for pro hoc vice admission. This admission must include specific information such as the attorney's jurisdiction, licensure, disciplinary history, and prior pro hoc vice appearances in Florida. Now, without such an motion and subsequent approval by the court, the attorney's actions, including sending emails related to the case and preparing legal documents, constitute practice. So you notice this here, right? Sending emails related, preparing legal documents. Somebody is preparing legal documents for her. We know that because she noted it. She said they're being provided by free counsel, but she is not disclosing who that counsel is. Again, that is a problem. She doesn't think that's a problem, but it is a problem. It's all a huge problem. This all is a glaring red flag. Like we've been saying for a while here. You've been waiting for that call out on that stuff. Well, here you go. I mean, that's something else, isn't it? Also, something needs to be done to stop this kind of action, you know? Because again, these folks, they think they can just continue to do things like this. They can disrupt. They can say or do whatever. I mean, you saw paint chips' stuff. The court, even when stepping to them, really should have gone harder, in my personal opinion. But you saw what it took. They were like, this is freaking insane. The court had to go to the point of being like, this is messed up. What are you doing here, son? Ugh. But I mean, this stuff is just as bad. It is. In some ways, this is worse because this right here could prejudice the court against Jeremy Hales. And Jeremy Hales, again, Jeremy is going through the proper procedures. Whether you agree or disagree with these cases were brought by Michelle Preston. They were allowed to fester, even though they had no chance of winning. And then after all of this mess, she decides, hey, I'm going to go this route. It's weird, isn't it? Once Granger and Granger, they decided to sue because of that. Again, you can think whatever you want about the cases, but they were terribly written cases. They were terrible. I would never have filed those things. You know? They would fail. And they did fail. They were let go. And there was you see what's happened? It's become a clown show and a half. So let's continue. The unauthorized practice of law is a serious matter that undermines the integrity of the judicial process and the Florida Bar's authority to regulate the practice of law in this state. Yes, that is the problem there. You know, again, you're undermining. Everything is supposed to be transparent that is going on within this. So you should be able to look at the court procedures. You should be able to tell exactly what's transpiring. There should be no guesswork involved. And on top of that, the Florida Bar, while they do a real clown show of it most of the time, they still are supposed to be able to regulate the practice of law. If something egregious happens in the courtroom, they're supposed to be able to do something about it. But how would you know if it's happening behind the scenes? It's crazy, right? So again, you know, it's certified, Wherefore, Jeremy Hales respectfully requests with the court to strike all these communications, which we'll look at again, including emails and any illegal documents sent or prepared by Bruce Manskin. So any of it. So not just the emails, but these documents that have been prepared. Enter an order prohibiting Bruce from further communications with the court or parties in this case until properly admitted, pro hoc vice, or associated with Florida counsel. Require Michelle Preston to identify the name of any non-licensed Florida attorney who drafts paperwork on her behalf, which is then submitted to the court in the future. Yes, this right here. And again, we've been talking about that. And they've been pretending that that's no big deal, right? But again, it is a big deal. If somebody is drafting your paperwork, if you have a lawyer working on things, they have to play by specific rules. You may not like them, but sometimes the rules work for you. And in conferring, and consider, one second, I hear a raider coming. Yes. It's who? Oh, hey. Well, hey, come here real quick. Give me a hug, and then I've got to continue with this craziness, okay? Well, that's very cute. I
You
like
want
it.
to help me?
No, I don't. I can't later on.
I keep getting the color wrong.
Here. No, well, I can't do it right now. Here. We can't have the sound around here either, okay? All right. We'll do it later, maybe. Okay. But you got to be ready for tomorrow. We're gonna have the birthday party stuff tomorrow. You got to be prepped for it.
And my birthday.
Yeah, her birthday too. Yes, it'll be good.
To get that.
Get that what?
You remember the icing I put on?
Oh yeah. Yes, we got cakes, and she put on her own icing for her cake and decorated.
Icing all over the middle.
That's right. She iced in the middle,
now.
orange.
I think it's dried now.
We'll go check on it.
It
Okay.
was
Well,
wet all today.
okay. Well, it'll be fun. But hey, close the door for me, okay, baby?
Okay.
Love you. Be ready for tomorrow, like I said. You know, get some rest so we can do it. She's excited about tomorrow. She's like, it's not her birthday, but it is. You know what I mean? If you're little and someone else has a birthday, Sissy does. It's like, it's my birthday too, man. But consider referring this matter to the Florida Bar for investigation of the unauthorized practice of law and grant such other relief as the court deems just and proper. So you see what it asked for here. Now, Bruce can't reply to this. That's the beauty. You know, the beautiful thing about this, Bruce, you can't reply. You can't argue your case. You can't. You're going to have Michelle file something. If she does, you're going to write it for her because you'll have to disclose that. So it is kind of interesting. You know, he's put himself in this weird quandary where what's he going to do? You know, and we'll see again what Judge Grabe will do about it. but it is a big deal. Now let's look at some of these letters, man. I mean, some of this stuff is, like I said, it's kind of wild. Let me see if they're all in order. Let me check something here, okay? Give me 1 sec. I'm curious here. Let's see, what is that? 507. 1 minute. I haven't even looked at the order of all this. I mean, this stuff it's kind of crazy because, you know, you have a huge thread of discussions that are going on. And it's just, like I said, it's weird that Bruce, he knows better. Like, he absolutely knows better than to do this. So I've got to start at the bottom of the document and work my way up from it. That's the way it works. I was making sure. Just give me 1 minute and I'll roll from the bottom of it to the top. All right, here we go. We'll do the first one. You ready? Here we are. Rolling up. You can see, you know, discussions here talking about isn't being held tomorrow, video conference hearing. You know, you have, again, you have your discussions here. They're talking about the case, like what is the case number? I can reference. So they tell them, here's the bankruptcy thing. Now, remember, again, what is this about, if you're wondering? Well, this stuff right here, they're writing about there is a bankruptcy hearing the next day. They are trying to interfere. This is when Michelle Preston put in her protective order. What you didn't realize was happening behind the scenes, and Jeremy and them didn't realize this was happening too until now, is that they were interfering behind it. They were playing lawyer behind the scenes. This is so messed up. Because they were playing lawyer behind the scenes and communicating, and they were told this is not in front of Judge Grabe. They're like, sorry, I thought you understood the subject referred to the bankruptcy reinstatement motion that is being heard tomorrow. Because if Miss Preston's bankruptcy is reinstated, all of the proceedings before Judge Grabe would be stayed. Mr. Hale and Mr. Shockett know this, and so we're pressing all of these matters in a short period while the bankruptcy stay has been lifted pending the reinstatement. Now, like I said, this is jacked up because he's arguing behind this, telling the court how they're supposed to do things. Instead of having filings put in by a lawyer, you're having lawyers behind the scenes influencing, and they're doing it on their own. The other side has no idea that this is happening. How can you say that this right here, this should be, I mean, this is big time problems. This should be referred to the bar. Because again, it is highly prejudicial. Also, anything that transpired because of this, anything that see, this is the problem that you run into with all the cases. Like I said, there's been enough BS done by these folks in every case that I think they've caused appealable error in anything. Because they try to bias the courts. It didn't work, but they tried. And, you know, they're talking about Hales. They're talking about Shockett. Again, this is the same thing Bruce did as an attorney, only now it's unregulated action. So, they are doing so merely so Mr. Hales can make YouTube content from all the filings and defaults. He should sue Bruce for this. He should. He should sue Bruce for it. I really think he should. Because he went around and he did an end run. He knew better. He absolutely knows better. He did an end run around the court. He's defaming Hales. Making all these gross statements. And again, he is not a lawyer in this case. Neither of these morons are. Let me check something real quick. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I was checking who communicated in that, just to make sure, you know, because you can see that Bruce is the one communicating right here. But they know there is no point to any of it if the bankruptcy is reinstatement, but exploit every possible chance to file something. They have the right. This is your case, you morons. You told Preston to bring this. You bragged about it over and over again, and then you drop the ball, son. Then you bring in a lawyer who drops the ball, and he doesn't do this stuff correctly. Now you blame Randy and you blame Hales. If you guys wouldn't have screwed up, first of all, the bankruptcy is its own screw up. But if you would have brought in some competent people, but there's a case online with that specific lawyer that has been brought in. And holy God, dude. My Lord, it is something else. It is such a mess. Oh my God. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. But unfortunately, in Granger versus Preston case, they got you to enter a default, even though Miss Preston had already filed her responsive answer and counterclaim. Huh. Now, actually, she had not. They asked for it, and it came in, and she did not get her stuff in time. But this doesn't matter. He is, again, arguing as a lawyer. He is making this argument way out of turn. This caused yet more filings, more need for Preston to prevent unfair prejudice from an incorrectly entered default. The audacity to talk about unfair prejudice while pulling this bullshit. She filed a motion to set aside. So he's arguing to have it set aside, the default. He's arguing also for the bankruptcy reinstatement. He's trying to argue about that. I mean, right here, this is one of them. Let's look at the others. I mean, this stuff, it blows my mind. This stuff is so infuriating that it is allowed to happen. Because again, this isn't just some talking out of turn. You know, talking out of turn is one thing, but the level of this stupid. Let me see. Is that the... Okay, now there's another one that comes up right after that. Okay, so let me pull this one up. This goes right after what we just read. All right. When I cut away, by the way, I'm pulling up the order of the letters. So I'm making sure, because you see all this stuff is it's all connected underneath. Some of it is, some of it's just the way they were filed in. So I'm making sure that we see it in order. So this again is from Bruce. It says the bankruptcy is being reinstated. Now, he didn't know whether or not that would be reinstated. They were asking for it to be reinstated. Again, look at the prejudicial language of this. You don't know if it's going to be reinstated or not. In fact, they lied. They lied to the public. They all did. The whole anti-Hales ecosystem absolutely lied about the bankruptcy and it being reinstated. And the morons they just lapped it up, man. I would be so pissed if somebody told me, they told you for weeks that it had been reinstated, and it was reinstated, what, yesterday, day before, whatever. I can't remember the exact day. I'd have to look, but it wasn't reinstated weeks ago. And they're all like, oh, people are so mad. No, man, that is absolutely the biggest mistake Michelle Preston can make. It is. It is absolutely a huge, potentially costly mistake. Hales did a video talking about other things that can be done associated with it. But beyond that, I mean, if you just look at it as a bankruptcy case itself and what they're attempting with it, it's so crazy. But I note it says that Mr. Shockett proposed Mr. Shockett's proposed order denying the MPO far exceeds what was asked for. A simple denied order, and asks for sanctions on the false basis that Miss Preston completely failed to appear at a deposition. That, you know what I'm thinking happened here? Michelle, did he tell you not to show up? Did he and the bankruptcy lawyer tell you not to show up? because you're being sanctioned for this. You realize you will be sanctioned for it. And you think the bankrupt, when it doesn't wash this away, Michelle, I hope you listen, ma'am. I hope you do. I hope when this stuff does not work out the way that you think it is, and you are looking at a huge legal cost, you understand where it came from. These people are arguing behind the scenes about something that where you did not show up. They have no authority to do this whatsoever. This could get you in trouble because you allowed this to happen. You are allowing them to complete legal filings on your behalf. This is a real problem for you. But Miss Preston filed the protective order the day before. Mr. Shockett, knowing she would not appear. You know, this, by the way, this was filed less than half a day before that was scheduled to happen. There was already a court report. They already had somebody attached to it where they were supposed to take deposition. The judge did not rule on it. He did not have a chance to rule on it. And that right there is a problem, because if Randy didn't show up, you know what would happen? He would be at fault. So he shows up for this thing. They don't. And now somehow, not only is it his fault, but Bruce is arguing about it behind the scenes. He's arguing with the court about the filing. So he is practicing law, and he is doing it without being on the case. But knowing she would not appear, convened just so Hales could make YouTube content. Again, I would sue over this. I absolutely would. Because in what world does Jeremy Hales have the ability to, or rather, what does Randy or Hales, do they have the ability to shirk something that a judge already knows about? It's clearly established that she was supposed to be there. She violated, again, you saw the order on that. The judge said, it wasn't timely what she did, and more. It was a problem. And then you have him again playing lawyer behind the scenes. And he could file his motion for sanctions based on the false basis she had completely failed to appear when her pending MPO meant she could await a ruling. Oh, so he told her, I'm imagining this is what happened. He told her she could skip, and since the pending protective order had been filed, that she would not be sanctioned for it. He told her, I imagine, that she would be able to set it out and there would be no problem, because, hey, you got a pending decision. The problem is that what you did was, it was very untimely. Anyway, the judge made it clear, but Bruce has no authority to argue this anyhow. And then he whines and says that Mr. Shockett continues to abuse this court for the sake of his client's YouTube content. This is nuts. Again, look at how much defamation is packed in here. There's a hell of a problem here. I hope Judge Grabe is aware of the attached court decision about Mr. Shockett. So he also attached items going after Randy. No shit. He attached documentation going after Randy too. So the attorney that is clearly licensed in Florida has an attorney that is not licensed in Florida, not only interfering, but gunning for him and trying to prejudice this case. He's attempting it, because right there, that statement right there is a problem. It is a huge, huge problem, because he's saying, hey, the judge, have you seen this document here? Does that have anything to do with the fucking case? No. Does the judge, do they have any ability to do something with a document that Bruce slips in? Absolutely not. So what would be the purpose in it? It would be to prejudice the courts. He's absolutely trying this behind the scenes, slinking around in the dark. Holy God, man. I mean, this right here is so out of bounds. I severely hope they do something about this, because what'll happen if they don't, it'll just embolden more behavior, and it'll be worse than this next time. It will be. It'll be absolutely worse. Okay, so we got another one. Let's see what this next one is. Now, those were back to back. Now, this one. Okay, so this one is from the 7th. Good Lord. Good Lord, Bruce. Goodness, man. There's a lot here, Bruce. Actually, holy crap, Bruce. What in the world? Oh, my. So check this out. Look. There's actually a... oh my God, dude. I did not read this one. I didn't roll back far enough. I can't believe what this says here. So Bruce writes on the 1st, check this out. This is buried in one of the emails. Like, okay, you see this is the filing right here. Yeah. But if you roll down to the original, what's added to, this came on October the 1st. Okay. So this was in October the 1st and says, I can't believe you are unable to do something to make sure the judge sees what is happening. Both of you are fully aware of it. In January 2024, Miss Preston had her own temporary protective order versus Hale's before Judge ThATuMBRELLAgUY. They used that as a pretext to force her to appear on a Zoom for a deposition. Here's why. Now they want a new Zoom depot content to broadcast on YouTube to mock and humiliate and entertain Hale's viewers for his own profit. You moron. This is your case. Did you tell Preston that she would never be deposed in her own case? These were your cases, Bruce. How dare you file cases? And you were part of this. You tried to lay it on Stark, but you were part of this. And you say that when it finally rolls around, that again, your client will be deposed as part of a case that you bring. But when this stuff finally rolls around, you slink behind the scenes and you try to poison the well. And this has been going on for a month. They didn't disclose this in a timely fashion either. Judge Grabe, I'm sure didn't know about it, and they may have not thought anything about this, but this is a huge problem here. Because he has been trying to influence the court for a while now. And again, if they're doing it in one case, what the hell is going on in other cases? This is madness, man. Again, this is its own lawsuit potentially. This should cost you your license, son. This is the kind of stuff that you know better than to do, and it should cost you your license. If somebody did this to Bruce, if they did an end run around his case and they were writing in like this, a lawyer, he would absolutely call for their licensure. You know he would. If Randy had even had the scent of something like this on him, he would try to destroy his life. He's already trying to destroy his reputation. He's already trying to freaking destroy him with judges and more. I mean, it's craziness. Now he continues. They want new Zoom depot there because, again, I want to catch this all, to content, to broadcast on YouTube, to mock and humiliate her and entertain Hale's viewers for his own profit. He ain't shocking or abusing the court, says the guy, again, doing the underwriting. You are disgusting, son. They are ruining this woman's life, and nobody there seems to lift a finger except to enter incorrect defaults orders after she filed an answer. In the other case, Granger versus Preston, giving Hale's content, we won in court and forcing her to expend more time and stress to deal with the court's mistake. Again, this is your garbage you did, sir. Please read the attached. He must have lied to get his Florida law license. So he did it again. He's trying to go after his licensure again. Good God, sir. This is nuts, man. You have lost it. Bruce, you have freaking lost your mind. It doesn't matter. Again, I'm sure this will have its spin. But my God, if you look at it again, anybody, you do not have to like. You do not have to like anybody involved. Reverse this, though. If this were a case where Randy Shockett was not involved and Bruce was involved, and Randy entered in behind the scenes and started writing a judge and saying all this stuff, what would they call for? They would absolutely call for his licensure. They would do all kinds of things, and rightly so. You know, that would be a problem. But I'm sure they'll try to deflect this here. This is why they're having so many problems holding on to an audience, honestly, because these people have lost the plot. They can believe any of this stuff they want. But in a court, again, Bruce is an officer of the court. If just some random moron does this, it's a problem. But an officer of court doing it is an exceptional issue. I'm aghast by some of this. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Oh, man. Give me 1 second here. I was checking something real fast. All right, let's continue reading this. So, again, you can see who this is to the staff. He's going after trying to get Judge Grabe to do something. So, writing them, he says, Judge Grabe asked for an order denying the MPO, not awarding sanctions or making any finding of fact underlying such an award. Nonetheless, Mr. Shockett added sanctions to the order as well as findings, although this was not what the judge asked for. Nevertheless, it was entered without any discussion. In essence, the court granted a motion for sanctions without an opportunity for Miss Preston to even respond, and no hearing. I suspect it didn't even realize it because Shockett slipped it in. Oh yeah, you know, Shockett has to bill his client for the time that he is there in the courtroom. They have to pay for staff to be there. Preston absolutely has to pay money. She got caught doing some BS that you probably told her to do. You or somebody's giving her legal advice. If you gave it to her again, like I said, this right here, this is the kind of stuff that causes real problems. Holy God. I mean, this doesn't just need to be stricken from the record. There were communications with the staff. So they communicated back with this guy. Now, again, I'm not saying there was anything wrong in what happened in the court. That's not what I'm saying, or that it influenced the judge in any way. But they are attempting here is to cause an issue or to cause the case to be kicked because they are losing and they know it. They have real problems here. This cannot be allowed to stand. Now, when a party files an MPO, they have not, quote unquote, completely failed to appear from deposition. Whether they notified by MPO, they won't be appearing. Again, this is garbage. You didn't do it in a timely fashion. You also, if you had a better excuse, maybe that would have worked. An emergency. But unfortunately, John Cook, the ex-husband, not husband, ex-husband, which you all claimed was husband. Did you write that filing, by the way, Bruce? Because if you did, you kind of screwed her on that. But you didn't say there was an emergency or something. You said that there was a doctor appointment, and that doctor appointment, according to John Cook, had been scheduled out for weeks. You all could have notified at any time, but you failed to do that in a timely fashion. You did not give the other side time to, again, I saw you argue about costs. When it came to paying a court reporter, oh my God, I saw your emails, man. Yeah. Again, if this were on you, despite this, Mr. Shockett chose to incur the cost of the court reporter instead of canceling it so he could file a motion for sanction. Oh, now it's all on Mr. Shockett's head. Again, and all of this is out of bounds. Doesn't even matter what you think about this stupid argument. He's not making this properly. Your office continues to play into every scheme they perpetrate to make YouTube content out of these court filings. Again, this right here, all of this should cost you your licensure. And this should go into Fed case too. This is what you do, Bruce. This should go in, and maybe that judge can finally wake the fuck up and see who you are. Maybe he can see how somebody like yourself could be the problem in something. And maybe not, I'm going to discipline both like they're wayward children. Whatever the fuck that means. Excuse my language. I swear these people, man. Your office entered a default in Granger versus Preston. And after default, she filed an answer. Now you make Miss Preston have to file more motions to address the sanctions that have been ordered because Shockett included this despite A, it not being what the judge asked for, and B, the sanctions are based on a falsity that she failed to appear with no notice that enabled them to avoid incurring cost of the reporter. God, that's nuts. Okay, there's one more. This stuff is nuts, man. I mean, this blows my mind. Now, this next one has a lot attached to it. This is going to roll in on the 9th. Okay, so he has been attempting to sway the court for days. For days, he's been writing. Good Lord, folks. What craziness. And this one, it has a lot attached to it. I'm not going to, okay, on here it has the legal documents as well. There's certain ones that we've seen. They refiled some of their answers and stuff. So I am going to look at those on another day. I'm not going to look at those, but I do want to read you this as part of it because this is pertinent to it. All of it's pertinent because I'll scan down and show you what was attached, but we'll read the entire, that document. It's its own document. I want to read it to you just so you understand what they're trying to do there. And we have plenty of time because now the bankruptcy is back in. And good. Absolutely good. But this comes out on the 9th. Again, you can see that it's Bruce writing, the same person there. Miss Thompson. Once again, I alert you to the error in the entry of default. Again, so you know what this also does? If you were in the case, if Bruce was in it, he would be able to file one filing about something, right? Instead, he has written multiple emails. He's tried to, again, prejudice the court. And obviously, he thought that he'd get away with it. I'm curious about the October the 1st one, too, that's on here. Why wasn't that added as its own email? I am curious about that because it does say, again, October the 1st in the headline. If it is October the 1st, where is that email? Why is it not its own filing? That should also be part of the record. It shouldn't just be included as a separate thing. It looks like, again, there is a potentially another chain of letters. There may be more. Who knows how many communications were there? I heard one court. We went to FOIA court to ask if there were things like this. And one court told us that they didn't keep records unless it made it to the judge or it was in the case itself, which is absolutely not supposed to be the way that happens. I mean, if these people are trying to, again, prejudice the court and it's going to folks that can influence the judges as well, they absolutely are supposed to keep that on record. But anyway, let's continue. So, the order for default entered September the 20th is based on the following finding. The court further finds that despite proper notice, defendant has failed to file or serve any responsive pleading or otherwise defend this action. Now, again, this is him arguing law. This is him arguing law here without making filings. So obviously this is incorrect, as the docket shows answers, defenses, and counterclaims filed September the 15th. Did Mr. Shuckett draft that order as well? If so, he purposely included this false finding for the judge's signature. Wait, what the fuck? You know, did you guys not mail that in? I seem to remember you all mailing in a document. It's so nuts. Good Lord, man. But he's like, oh, it's on the docket. But did he do that? If not, then he is free of blame in this instance, unlike in other matter in which he machinated a sanctions order based on falsely including in the order that Miss Preston completely failed to appear for a notice deposition, when in fact he had advance notice and chose to incur the cost of a court reporter just so he could make a motion for sanctions. Again, this clown dude. It is extremely upsetting that even after filing, I'm really thinking about complaining to the bar about this, man. This is crazy. I'm going to see what this judge says, but this is wrong, Bruce. I have never found a need to be like, yo, this is bar material, but this is nuts. Like how you know that this is inappropriate. Like how in the world did you think that doing this, did you think because they didn't tell on you at first? Or have you just, like I said, have you completely lost it, Bruce? Because if you completely lost it, I guess I could understand that. If this stuff has gotten to you that much, man, because otherwise I cannot rationally understand how you can make a rational decision here thinking that this is appropriate. You are not her lawyer in this case. You are an officer of the court and undermining the case here, prejudicing this. Like again, if he found out that this was happening in a case that he was part of, that he was the lawyer on, or he was the defendant in, or the plaintiff or whatever, that somebody just randomly put in, he would call for their head. He's all right here. He's calling for Randy's licensure over and over again in these. I mean, this blows my mind, man. But it is extremely upsetting that even after filing her pleading, Miss Preston must still deal with the consequences of an entry of default, as if she had not filed her pleading prior to default being entered. She diligently filed a motion to set aside September 25th, yet the default has still not been set aside. Every day it remains equals more stress for her, more YouTube content for Mr. Hales. Will this default be removed? By the way, if you enjoy this YouTube content, it is for me, by the way, it is not Mr. Hale's content. This is my content right now. If you enjoy this content, which makes certain people butthurt as hell, apparently, then consider ye old super chats. I swear to God, man, these folks, they blow my mind. They do. And again, I try not to let them annoy me, but my God, dude, this is so highly prejudicial. Like it blows my mind that they can do something like this. So I think in order to laugh at their stupid, if you would like to help out the channel, well, consider doing it, because apparently it makes them mad when we have YouTube content. But you know what? If they have a problem with YouTube content, maybe they, I mean, they do stuff like this. Look at this. And again, okay, so he attached to this, by the way. Look at this here. So he's attaching filings to it too. One second, I gotta clear my throat. This is what you do when I file if I'm a lawyer, when I file something, right? I file documents making my point. That's what he's doing. He's adding documentation to these emails. He's telling you he's doing it. Look, he's attaching the court's filing, their findings here. He's asking them to overturn a finding, which is nuts, like I said. On top of that, he's putting in here the answers, defenses, and counterclaims. You can see that, which was prepared by some lawyer. And I would say if a lawyer is interfering to this degree, they probably are the lawyer that's doing this, right? They're not disclosed who they are, though, but you can see that clearly that they are noted on here as well. And on top of that, I'm taking it that, you know, here's the motion to set aside. And on top of that, well, we know that he has added more, but the court didn't feel the need to add those clearly prejudicial documents. But they're noted in there, and you know what he brought up in that. Like I said, you know, you have people that play by the rules, but these people, they try to hamstring them all the time. And this is beyond wrong. This is beyond, you know, some kind of a joke with the legal system. And this is out and out. It's criminal in its level. It's nuts, man. Preston, by the way, has said that she is going to soon make her first YouTube video. That should be interesting. Make it interesting, Lynette. Again, you could really freaking, you know, if you were smart, again, these people, they are leading you down a weird road. But if you were smart about stuff, God, you can make money. You can make real money. But she's said that she's going to do her own YouTube things. We will talk about some of that probably tomorrow. There's all kinds of stuff. But I'm curious. If she pops off a video, make sure somebody grabs it, by the way, in case it just disappears. I want to see what happens, you know. But I am very curious about that, Lynette. I am curious what you're going to attempt to make a video out. Now, you said you were going to make videos before. I do remember that. Yeah, she put up a post. Like I said, I know that she said that. She put up a post talking about the deposition being canceled. I'm sure it was canceled due to the bankruptcy of the board. Yes, of course, you know. Of course, it was canceled for that. Of course it was. She noted it. She put it on YouTube. She also put it up here. If you haven't seen it, she noted that, you know. You can see where there was the cancellation, you know. And of course, I mean, that's going to happen. You may see some fireworks, though. It'll be interesting to see what exactly happens about the interference from an outside lawyer that is not licensed in the state of Florida and the level that he went to. But we'll talk about all that craziness. We'll hit everything tomorrow. Let's go through some supers, guys. And appreciate y'all being here. You know, we'll have a really crazy weekend. There's going to be a lot, you know. There will be a lot that will go over the weekend. So if you are going to be around, of course, the oldest will be on for a bit tomorrow. She's asked to be. So if you're around, wish her a happy birthday. But I'll schedule it as something. I'm not sure what the topic will be. Of course, she will not be helping cover that topic because these topics are crazy. But she'll be part of the live stream before that, I'm sure. But if you're around, I appreciate you being here. Now, Venmo wise, Trisha sent $25 to the birthday girl, and have a great day. Thank you for that. She will appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. We have Fallen Hero. What's up, Fallen Hero, baby? How you doing, brother? Thank you for that gifted membership. Good to see you, as always, too. Much appreciated. Elf Lockin' Lou, baby. How you doing? Lou. Thank you for those 5 giftos there. Appreciate that. Appreciate seeing them fall in on everybody, too. Thank you for that. William, thanks for the 5. Listen to 27 minutes of Shara's video before popping over here. Starts a little slow, but has lots of new stuff so far. Yeah, it's been interesting. I thought I listened fast. I've got to go back and listen more. You know what I mean? Because I turned it on fast speed. I'm bad about that with some videos, some audio, but if I'm wanting to go through it, and that's what I did with it. But I want to go through it slower. And we will probably also, like I said, we'll cover as well. So there's plenty of time to cover stuff. I say that, and then all hell breaks loose usually. Oh my goodness, man! Megan leaving this week. There's been so much that's happened. It has been nuts. Holy moly. Lily, thanks for the 5. I love watching you. And also Megan, thanks for being you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh man, last night, so I forget to mention this. I had some people write, I had to dip out after about an hour on the stream yesterday because I had some stuff I had to do. And usually that wouldn't be a problem. We would have been at Super Chats, but we ended up going late. So I got about 3 or 4 emails being like, oh my God, you and Megan are fighting now. I'm like, what? Every time, man. Every time. No, there's not a problem. That's so weird. She should be back next week, I'm guessing, to her regular stuff. She's traveling today, though. But it's just kind of funny. Anytime, like it's not even missing a stream, but like leaving, like I said, I was leaving kind of on time because we had a late start, but it was just kind of funny. I was like, wait a minute, it's not right. Thank you, Lily, though. You were very appreciated. And I love you guys. Y'all are great people. Crafts with Hale, thank you for oh, it's your birthday. I need to bust out a birthday song. I love birthday songs, especially. I've been prepping my birthday song for tomorrow. So here we go. You ready? Here we go.
Happy birthday from both of us to you. Happy
birthday. Yeah.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Here's to another
That's
year.
right. And a million more. That's right. Much appreciated. It's good. Like I said, loved you all. Birthday feels good. Having more and more of them feels better. So have a bunch more. Saggy01, thank you. Dropped 5 gifted memberships. Thank you there. It's like you're dropping birthday gifts for people. Thank you there. We also Emmy. What's up, Emmy? How you doing, Emmy? Thank you for dropping that gifted membership too. Saggy01, Emmy, and maybe not. They dropped in a row there. Maybe not. What's up? Maybe not. By the way, good to see you. Dropping 10 giftos. Love to you, by the way. Very much appreciate you. Maybe not. As always, can't say that enough. Very much appreciate you. Tizzy the bones. Thank you there. Appreciate that gifted membership. And also, Like I've said before, Tizzy has a good video. The last one, if you have not checked out the new ones, whew, get in there, man. They're good. Like Tizzy puts together some good videos. You know, I very much appreciate those. So props to you, Tizzy, and thank you too. Moody Nana, thank you for the 5 there. Just about to fall asleep here, UK. Catch up in the morning. Hey, that is totally okay. Appreciate you. Thank you. Kathy dropped a 20. There's not a statement, man, but that is its own statement. Thank you, Kathy, and you are very appreciated. Thank you. Sneaky Sheep, thank you for the 2 there. I like that. I like the Sneaky Sheep name. I do. I think it's funny and cute. Every time I see it, I like it. I imagine little sheep sneaking around my house, you know? Oh, check out these. By the way, you want to see something cool? I've been working on that Umbrella Guy assembly line pictures, right? Check these out. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Now, the little people keep floating, you know, little workers, but isn't that awesome? Look at that. I like how AI did the mask too. I'll have to show you something in a few minutes, but I thought that was a cool design, and like that one is pretty cool. How they put it together. I like the little worker that's on the ladder. You know, you have people putting together stuff that are just standing around, like floating in space. I'm floating in space. Look how short he is. There's the breakdown. You know, I like how they put a worker on the shirt. Oh no, I'm cold here. I'm cold. But there's so many really good ones. I enjoy them, and I've been playing around, like I said, with the design maker. You know, I like the breakdowns though, where it puts it on the assembly line and pulls it apart. I think that's a cool design. But anyway. There's a lot of these. I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing around with that, seeing how you could make different views. I like what AI did, though. Check this out. I want to show you something. Well, so AI, I told it to like do an assembly line of, you know, like, here, let me just show you. It's like an above glance of that picture. And this is what it did. And I liked this. I thought this was kind of cool. So check it out. I like what it did with the face. So check out the face here. Like it has an umbrella that's almost facing. Look, it flops it out of the way. Watch. That's kind of cool, isn't it? So it was like an umbrella you're just seeing from above. Oh, that's actually kind of interesting. Anyway. I thought those were cool. But Sneaky Sheep, thanks for the 2 there. If Big gets slammed, that might make Larry's case easier. Yes, Sneaky Sheep. That I would think some of that stuff anyway would just say more about, you know, you see what he's doing behind the scenes, and obviously this is a problem. And you have these orders calling him out repeatedly. Why wouldn't people have like a certain type of opinion about the guy? You know? Mama Nada, thanks for the 10 there. For more crafting supplies. Thank you there. Yes, I ended up, I bought quite a few crafting supplies. And then my mom, the girl's grandma, she bought a bunch today. She bought like 9 packs of different kinds of beads because the eldest has been on a tear with them. Joan, thanks for the 20 there. Breadstick money. Thank you, Joan. That is awesome. Appreciate you. Second old one. Thanks for the 10 there. Happy birthday, Tiny Tug. That's right. It's her birth. It's her heart's birthday. She loves it. I'll tell her that she got birthday wishes too. She will appreciate it for sure. Midas Club. I did get that George Costanza painting. I laughed. I thought that was really funny. By the way, big ups on the Cobra Commander. You ever you pick up any of the classifieds? I picked up the classified Rattler. Oh my gosh. I wish I would have picked up the what do they call it? The armor. God, I can't think of the snake armor. That's what it is. It took me a minute. I wish I would pick that up. Like the classified wise, because that thing is crazy. But the Rattler is nuts. It takes up way too much room too, but it is amazing. Janice, thanks for the 20 there. For love to continue making bracelets to sell. Oh, that's awesome there. I'd love to buy one. I'm thinking about popping up a few, you know. I'll see, because she was like, oh, could I do that? I'm like, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I like the blue tape one. I think that's funny. Thinking about selling those is, again, you know, anti-hails repellent. I think that would be funny. I have my favorites. Drop 10 months. Thank you. I have my favorites. I have some more fun beads for, like, oh man, she will appreciate that. And all of you, thank you too. You all have gotten her really just on the creative front. She's been just full bore. She's been drafting, drawing, making. It's great to see. She makes some of the fun, and she makes cool stuff. So appreciate that. Cindy, thanks for the 5. Help with beads and supplies. Thank you, Cindy. That is awesome there too. Man, I love it, because when I was a kid, I could not like afford like the crazy, you know how supplies are and stuff. You know, it's like, oh, I can't say, you know, we didn't have that. So I love having it for the kids now. Emma, thanks for the 2. Just a lurker lurking over here. Well, lurk away, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Lurkers, you're all part of everything. It doesn't matter your status or communicate, just whatever. Appreciate you. Wyatt, thanks for the 11 months. Can I pre-order a blue tape bracelet? Yeah, I'll mention, I gotta figure out how we're doing that. And I'll find out what a shipping would cost around here. I found out, like, I did a few, like, very limited ones before, and some great folks. Jack's mom, thank you. But I tried different shipping methods, and I noticed that I tried to box it first. Even tiny boxes were like crazy, so I tried like those little shipping mailers, and I need to see how much those are, because I want everybody, like, if we do it, you know, in the States, now if you're out of the US, I'll have to figure out what shipping costs. But yeah, we'll see. We'll figure out something. But thank you, Wise Grammy. Red Source, thanks for the 5 there. Look, $5 birthday appetizer. It was the night before her birthday, when all through wild dreams, a vision of my day formulated in her precious head. Yes, she's been imagining, honestly. She has been on the tear. Like, oh man, it's my birthday tomorrow. She even made... She even decorated her own like little cake. She did a Resident Evil biohazard cake. It was cute. She wanted to get a different one today. And I thought that was fun. Yeah, JC, I like this. Thanks for the dude. Dude says major clinical. Yes. He is going to get that FOMO on, isn't he? It's for sure. That is. It feels like he wants it. Natalie dropped a $20 super sticker. Thank you, Natalie. That is awesome of you and much appreciated. Patrick, thanks for the 10. 6K for bankruptcy. 2K for LMNOP to file. 2K for John Cook to file. 2K for written under the free advice of a lawyer. When, not if, John Cook files bankruptcy, it'll be just another delay. If they go that route, I mean, for real, they'll have some real issues with that. You know, by the way, there's been some confusion too. Let me note this. So I noticed some people were not understanding the camper that they picked up. John Cook is the one who supposedly financed it. He said he did. Okay. So it wasn't Lynette that financed it. And, you know, I was asking about it. If they always had the ability to finance, why try to borrow $5,000 of unsecured money? Whether they mean it or not, that looks like they are trying to defraud people, you know? And again, I'm not saying you are, but that really looks bad. And it looks even worse afterwards, you know? Really, again, I hope they take their, you know, the real money real what they should have. And John Cook, again, should be one of the people that stands up against this too, but he seems very cowardly, and it would be to stand up to 2L instead of letting them appease and stroke your ego and call them out for stealing y'all's money. Actually, I guess it wasn't your money. It was actually LP's and the kids' money. But hey, Angela, not Angie. Not Angie. Thanks for the vibe there. I had to put my elderly cat to sleep. Oh, no, I understand how that is. We've had to do that before. That sucks. You know, when they get to that point, you really feel for them. But love to you, man. Really love to you. Super chats in memory of Chloe. Was just the very best girl. I understand that. And love to you. Those days are hard. They are. Just remember when they get to that point, man. It hurts. It does. But love to you for real. JC, thanks to the 2. Blue tape is what the hell ecosystem kryptonite. It really is. Could you see that? I need an origin story now. What we do is we do have an origin story. It's funny, but it'd be funny to have one like a Temu Superman. That'd be really good. Jada, thank you for that gifted membership. Thank you, Jada. Like I said, love that. Love that people are gifted something. Thank you. Emma, thanks for the 2. I'd happily mock LP for being morally bankrupt. Indeed, yes. But for, yeah, you got a good point there. You know, yeah, she posted. The reason I mentioned the bankruptcy and her saying that people were mocking her over it is because I was like, I don't mock people over filing bank. I've been there. You know, most people, they don't care if you've had like financial hardship and you've got to reset. Nobody cares about that. They're mocking the idea that these people convinced you that it was a smart play. Bonnie, thanks for the 5. Is Felisa fundraising a case that could go in class action case? Like I said, it feels like a class action mess. But no, what she would actually have is a law enforcement case against her. Law enforcement, this is not a civil issue when people are defrauding folks, you know? It's not a civil issue. And, well, I'll tell you some more about it later on because there's more people talking about it and coming forward. Like I said, the people that if you've had your money taken like that, you do not have to just allow it. You don't have to eat it. Niece, thanks for the 10 there. I wonder how often Deuce Foreskin Ambulance Chaser has done this illegal behavior in the past cases. To DNMA, he's a slimy TUR to the D. Well, I do wonder how often he has potentially done stuff like that because that is so beyond. I wonder how many times things like that have potentially happened in these cases and they weren't just, you know, have they been disclosed by everyone? They should be, but have they been? Jack Miles, thanks for 5. Ducey says, rules for thee, not for me. Indeed, you know, and that potentially causes you some real problems too. Lily, thanks for the 2. Why not mention the sanctions in his Letho case? Well. You know, he I'm wondering when that's going to roll around because it still hasn't rolled around yet. And I'm wondering, like, if he gets hit with something because of this, then he's got a problem. Then he does. You know, if it causes an issue too in the case, you know, potentially that could be brought up in other ones to talk about his just very questionable actions. Because again, these were cases that they brought. Like, they're mad because they screwed up. They brought such terrible cases and now they're in trouble. They've been kicking the can down the road, but man, it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, it's so messed up. Janice, thanks for the 20 there for both the lip gloss money and going to 5 below. Well, she'll love that. Thank you. Yeah, we need to, I'm going to see, like I said, what the oldest wants to do tomorrow. You know, she'll lead the way. And the little one is just down to do whatever. whatever. You know, she's just down to watch movies, play video games, go to stores, anything. She does whatever. So it always cracks me up. We'll see what's up with tomorrow. Emma, thanks for the 2. Bruce is stocking up on audacity from Costco. Indeed. He seems to have a surplus, you know. Rusty, sound like the doofus they lady who is brokey and never pays her bills is really going to be sorry when she owes even more money. Stop coping. We're not talking about the lady that has no money and will owe more. Yeah. So at least you do understand that she's not going to be able to discharge that money, right? It's definitely going to pile up on her, you know. And she does have stuff to lose. She does have some things to lose, and you can lose it. But today, that stuff, it's aimed at Bruce. You know, I wonder, man. I always wonder, though, Rusty, if you had a business, maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. If you had something and somebody went after every advertiser you had, they put out signs in your neighborhood calling you an ARPist, then they sued you. Because you remember these cases that are going on right there. Those cases are her cases. You know, these aren't the Fed cases. I realize that can be confusing, but these are her cases, and they've blown up in her face. I wonder if somebody sued you, would you just be like, no problem? Even though I ate tens of thousands of dollars, it's no problem at all. Would you just let it go? Because I don't think I would. You know? Actually, I know I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't because they'll do it again. They made sure they said that they would do it again. So yeah, you hit them with something that will bury them financially. And it's not necessarily about them. It's about the other clowns in the circus. You send them a message too. And you say, those clowns right there, the ones that have something to lose, maybe they don't want to play, you know? Because, I mean, you're right. You know, she may not have, so you may not ever be able to collect stuff. But, you know, that message right there, the message that comes through clear is there is consequence. And she's definitely going to lose on the Fed one, on the other stuff. I think you see that too. You know, because if you think that she's going to owe more money, I think you see that she's definitely got some problems. But anyway. Kim, thanks for the 11 months there. Sorry I'm late. Starting from the beginning. Love you all. Well, love to you too. Appreciate you. I get it too. I have problems starting from the middle. It really messes me up. So I get you. Kim, thanks for the 15 months. So LP Deuce and Antis need to give up the BS about it being for YouTube views. It's irrelevant. No one in the court cares. Dingbats, indeed. That is a huge problem for them. They need to, you're allowed to talk about and you're allowed to make videos about whatever goes on. You can do that. So for them to try to deflect, but you know why they deflect with that? Because they don't have a better argument. That's their problem. They don't have a better argument. Because ultimately the stuff that's stacked up against them, it's so damning they have to have some type of deflection. And that is their deflection. Denise, thanks for the 2. Not breadsticks. It's Thursday. Ooh, stir fry money. Stir fry money. Thank you, Denise. That sounds good, actually. I could use some stir fry. Jan Marie Harmony. Thank you for the $3 super sticker. I wanted to say, I like the way it flows. Jan Marie Harmony. Flows well. I like that. I had to say it all together. I do. I like that there. But thank you. Thank you for this super sticker. And thank you for your support. Marine, thank you for the 14 months. Thanks for the laughs. I needed this. I lost my nephew this month. Oh, man. Man, love to you, brother. You know? Or I said brother, sister. I'm sorry. I say brother to a lot of people, you know? Just an automatic. But love to you. It's such a... It's so bad to lose people, period. You know? And dealing with it right now. If you're dealing with loss, laughing, having people to hang out with, those are the things that you should do. And I'm glad you're here. And remember, if things get heavy, you talk to somebody, you talk to family, you lean on them for support. And if things get really heavy, you talk to somebody. It's okay, like, to talk to a professional too. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to grieve. You remember all of that as well. But I'm glad you're here laughing and having a good time too, because that's part of the process too. You know, sometimes it's good to take a minute. Hello to you, Marie. Kim, thanks for the 5 there. I appreciate you covering this madness, Doug. It makes my head spin. Yeah, me too. How can they keep digging themselves deeper in absolute chaos, delusion, and debt? It's because at the end of the day, they're just, it's like they don't learn. You know, it's like a clown show that just keeps being a clown show. You're like, I'm like, they're gonna hit the bottom of the barrel, right? They're gonna keep screwing. Nope, that they don't learn. They haven't hit the bottom yet. Carol, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate that. That is awesome of you. Thank you. I love going back through those again, clipping them and showing them to the kiddos too. Colleen, thanks for the 5. Saving money for Luck's birthday tomorrow. BBB, isn't it? Well, thank you, Colleen. Thank you, first of all, for being here. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you for saying that, too. And also, yes, indeed, there's a lot of proof for that person being an idiot. That's true. All right, Sherry, thanks for the 20 there. I want a blue tape bracelet, please. Well, I'll let you know when all that comes up. We will talk about it. I'll see about it. Like I said, I've got to figure out how many I'll allow, because, but again, all of that money would go to the little one too, or the oldest. I don't want to say little one, but you know who I'm talking about. It would go to her. They'd be her creations, but usually I'll limit her on how many. That way she focuses on all of her school and everything else she has to do too. But yeah, I'll look at that and see. Thank you. Sassy, thanks for the 5 there. Happy birthday to the big 12-year-old. Indeed. Plus plus breadstick money to make the what the hales go crazy and scream with those green eyes of envy. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? It is. It's got to suck too. They had so they've been having auctions for their Temu brand stuff, which they say is not Temu brand, by the way. But the numbers, man, were a quarter of what they typically have. And the same people pick up stuff over and over again. Like a dozen people or less. It's wild. Like, it's not sustainable. It's not over time period. It's crazy. It just shows you how much damage has been done. Imagine behind the scenes. It's not I've been hearing it's a little chaotic. Let's just say that. Andre, thanks for the 2 there. I think Deuce wants to remain relevant in this case. Oh, yeah. He also wants to win, but more than that, I feel like he wants to get revenge. Deuce doesn't handle the slight well, and he feels like he's been slighted. You can tell the people he feels he's slighted by. He feels like he has been slighted by. You can tell who he doesn't like, but you can tell who he feels like has absolutely slighted him. He feels like Randy has slighted him above Jeremy. He doesn't like Jeremy, and he feels like Jeremy's slighted. But Randy, he's going after Randy hard. Shizzy. Megan. I always forget to add Shara. He very much does not like Shara. Feels like she's slighted him. For me, I don't know if I fit into the slighted. I definitely not liked, but I don't know about slighted. Like, again, you look at who he goes after hard. Those people, he goes after really hard. And Randy's at the top of the list. So relevance, yeah, to a degree, I think, but I think it's more than that. I think he's lost it, feels like. Tizzy. Thank you for that gifted membership too. Thank you, Tizzy, again. Much appreciated. And like I said, appreciate your content too. On to you. Thanks for the 5 there. Completely exhausted, pissed, and astonished. Going to bed. Good night, all. I know, it's amazing. Yeah, you know, when you look at this stuff, you can be like, oh my God, too. Never let it crawl into your skin. Like when I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that. You take it as a lesson about the people. You also take it as a lesson about lines in the sand. I learned this a long time ago. You think other people have these lines in the sand because you won't cross them. You know, even if they're legal lines, whatever, behavior, moral lines, you think people won't cross them because you won't cross them. But the lesson in that, lines are self-imposed. Even if other people, you know, again, if they can put you in prison or whatever, they're still self-imposed. You decide what lines you won't cross. And most people agree on certain things. Most professionals, whatever, they agree on certain lines not to cross. But some people, they just consistently blow your mind with this lunacy, you know? Lawanda, what's up, Lawanda? How you doing? Thank you for the 10 there. Happy birthday. Enjoy your special day that God chose you to be born on. Indeed. She'll have a great time. She so much wants to be online to like run a channel. And so I'm like, yeah, don't grow up too soon, kiddo. You know, bask in being young. You know, enjoying. And she does. She loves being a kid too. But I always tell her, like, enjoy being a kid. D spills the tea. Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you, D spills the tea. Love to you too. You know, very much appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you do for sure. Thank you. Jaguar, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you. Dropping 5 giftos there. Thank you for that. I love that freaking Muppet, man. Love it. Love it. Puzzler. Thanks for the 5 there. Gosh, I hope you, Megan, and Bill Nye finally bear that and get along. I know, man. Me and Bill Nye, did you hear about the fist fight that happened? So bad. Love it. And it's very merry on birthday to you, by the way. Very merry on birthday. Appreciate you. Hey, what's up, Angela? How you doing? Thanks for the 20 there. Happy birthday to Luck. She's great. Reminds me of a cross between my 11 and 13-year-old daughters. It's her birthday here in New Zealand. All right. I will tell her, by the way, she has birthdays all over. Yes, and love. Oh, my daughter made me an emotional support pickle with a mask. That's hilarious. That is. I like the little pickles. Like I see them around here and there too. So that's cute. That's very cute. Tinsel dropped 50. Thank you, Tinsel. That is much appreciated, by the way. Need to be on replay. Happy heart birthday and happy birthday, Luck. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I got to get out of the habit of like saying man and brother, by the way. It's just such a bad habit. SF, thanks for the 5. You should get Luck to make a blue tape bracelet for Jeremy Hales to sell and whatnot. Yeah, I may send one over for them, you know, because they do need it. They need one for sure. They just need repellent to keep them. Maybe it will keep some of the crazies away. Oh, by the way, Puzzler, appreciate you. You said, thanks for the 2. I got to stop commenting so much. You said it twice, by the way. You do realize that, right? If you sent one through on accident, actually, you did it 3 times there. What's up? And then you said, thanks for 5. I guess I can't stop. You're a nut. That's so funny, man. Oh, that got me laughing. I was like, wait a minute. This on another one. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, it's funny. Janice, thanks for the vibe. I love this star that stretches into a heart. But look, man, I buy one of those too. Yeah, those are cute, man. I don't know if everybody saw those. She makes a flower ring as well. I'll show you. Like, she makes all kinds of stuff. She makes paper crafts and everything else as well. I'll show you her. I don't know if this is the best picture of it because it wads it up a little more, like when it's on my hand, you know, shot from above. But let me show you this. Give me 1 second. Like, they look really good. Like, my picture is not as good as I really want it to be. But check this out. So she makes a little flower ring as well. And this is the flower. Like it's got the outside like blue. It's got the middle. And it lays down pretty flat. It's just the way I've got it like on my finger, you know. And then it's got the green around. So she makes a ring as well. He gave me one. I was like, that's cute, man. You know, so she makes those. She makes the little hearts too. 1 second. I'll show one of those real quick too. I mean, she makes all kinds of stuff. She cracks me up with all of her creations too. But we made a video. We were goofing off with one of her creations. Check this out. I wanted to show it off, so here it is. Check this out.
Behold, my newest creation.
Like a little heart.
It's a star heart amalgamation. Yeah.
I like that she calls it an amalgamation too. Like, man, what a word for a kid. You know. Oh no, Puzzler's back. I've got to stop commenting so much. I see that up there. You're crazy, man. You crack me up. And then Debbie, thanks for the 4 months there. I sent out bracelets and bubble envelope, much cheaper. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that way. I watched for bubble envelopes on eBay or Temu. It saved costs. The post office just said, yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think about buying them like in bulk. I did that with used to have to buy comic mailers. You know, I used to buy them by the pallet load. And when we would do our own comic stuff, which has its pros and cons. The one pro that was there, the for doing it myself was like when somebody's like, hey, I got missed in the, you know, like somebody did arrive, I could just pop one back out. I didn't have to wait on another person to do it, you know, and check on them and see if they did it. But it's a lot of comics to pack too, so I don't miss that. Puzzler, thanks for the find there. I guess again, just dub the duck. Puzzler. You're correct. I love it. I love it. Thank you. That's Vanessa. Thanks for the 5. Tongue. Rusty Stevens says, hater troll. Kitty says he's your lot. Hey, that's fine. You know, they can. He pays to chat, and if he has a certain opinion, he paid for that opinion. So you know what? He supported the channel, and they are allowed to have You know, they're allowed to have different. I shouldn't. Detrimental is wrong word. They're allowed to have a difference of opinion. It's not detrimental. If it's detrimental, that would mean it harms the channel, and that's not the right word. They're allowed to have a difference of opinion. You know, they can be around. They can be disagreeable as long as they're, you know. And again, if they're super chatting, they're allowed to have their opinion on that too. There was like I said, there's been a few that have noted, you know, difference of opinion, and that's okay. Sometimes it gives us a really good talking point, and sometimes it's not. But sometimes it's actually something that's pretty good to talk about too. But thank you too. I appreciate you there, you know, as well. All right, folks. I think we're good to go. Now, as far as people that are on today, is Jay on today? Is Jay up today? Let me check. I think he's doing his thing. Jay Hip. Let me check him just to make sure. Yeah, Jay's doing People Watch. So there's about, let me do a redirect, okay? Just give me a second here. Now, if you want to go over and go ahead to just Jay Hip, that's cool. I go over, but I'm going to set up a redirect because I want to give Jay some love. You know, Shizzy's on too. It depends on what you want to watch, okay? You rate either one, all right? But do me a favor. If you're going to raid Shizzy's talking about court orders and stuff too. If you're going to raid Shizzy, first do me a favor. Go raid Shizzy. Give that boy some love. I'm going to give you a redirect link to him just because he needs some love, you know. He doesn't have as many streams, but when he does, there we go. Like I said, he's got about 78 people. Let's rate him good, man. So let's go over, give him some love. Even if you're going to go watch something else, like I said, if you want to watch, if you're going to go watch anything, just go check him out too. Oh, and by the way, Sassy, what's up, Sassy? Thanks for the 2 there. Your shop, Etsy, eBay, whatnot account. Yeah, I will keep an eye, and thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, Sassy, too. But you all go raid Jay. And again, if you go and raid Shizzy, raid Jay first, if you would, please. Just because, show the boy some love. He needs it. He does. He needs some love. Give his ego a little bit of pat. But also, like I said, if you go over and raid Shizzy, tell him Tug sent you too. All right. Thank you, folks. And I'll see you.